And it's Dan and James talking about the Villa games. We have returned. The prodigal sons have returned.
It's ominous, that was.
Yeah, well, I kind of wanted to go welcome back, but it's sort of like a fresh start, it feels like now. Well, we had 2 weeks off, I think it is, but the AVFC Faithful Podcast has returned with Dan and James talking about Villa, not Villa games, for 2 more months.
We've sort of let the dust and stuff settle, haven't we now? And I think it was officially the end of the season after Monday's round of international games, I think it was. So yeah, it's now technically the start of a new season for us. You know, we haven't started pre-season yet, but it's the whole, you know, you restart up and stuff. I'm still enjoying like what we went through last season, and you know, obviously a couple of the things that have happened over the past few weeks, but I'm trying to avoid the impatient, petulant side of social media and just sort of like keep on enjoying summer before, you know, all the games and stuff start.
Yeah, I think it's weird. I think a lot of us haven't decided that the season started until the badge gets revealed. It sort of feels like we're still here. To be honest, I've had to stop myself from just going back on my phone and watching videos from Brighton at home because it's like a sort of like an addict still living off the kick. I just can't stop going back. It's just me at this point.
Yeah, I've done it several times. It's just I don't even watch it for the football. I do it to remember what it was like to be in that crowd. Like it was so good, and it's just like I think I've watched several fan videos of like being at the ground several times because it was just I think that's what makes me so relaxed this summer. I just remember how good it was and just savouring that, and then letting everything else that comes along with it happen.
Yeah, well, it's the first season and God knows how long that we didn't want it to end, so it doesn't help really that it all kicks off and all of a sudden we're like, all right, okay, there's no summer tournament. We sort of just have to sit on our laurels. I mean, how many times I'm going to have to look at the seeded or unseeded versions of the knockout stages towards the Conference League? I don't know, but I will keep looking. It's getting to that point now where I am picking up the dregs. I think the best thing on Twitter at the moment is your Twitter every morning where I get to see a random Villa goal from history. I'm having fun. I can't wait to see my favourite goal every day. What was the one it was Snodgrass today, wasn't it?
That was today. Yesterday. Today was Ashley Young.
A long week.
Ashley Young against Everton today. The last minute.
Oh
winner.
Yes, of course, because of I forgot his name. Who was on Co-Coms, but that was sort of like a flashback in. I forgot his name now. That's but yeah, that's what I'm sort of getting from it now. Is it's back like I remember before I was sort of chronically online. I'd go back through and watch like best goal compilations of Villa, past and present, all the time. Just anything to get that little kick back. But let's not pretend there's nothing happened. I mean, we've left it long enough. I think we were hoping maybe when we got back there'd be something really big, and then it's strange that sort of 3 quite big things happened in the time frame it's taken. I mean, I wasn't expecting a signing yet. We've got a site to cover. We've got a club official leaving, a club official join. I mean, let's not pretend like it hasn't kicked off a little bit. It's been an interesting few weeks, and we're still on the 21st of June.
I know exactly, and you know,
with the club store changing its opening hours tomorrow. What is going to happen?
Yeah, interesting. But it's just, I think it's been actually quite nice to like let it happen and not keep updating on links and stuff. And like, obviously now we've got a few big things to talk about, and you know, a couple of really positive things to talk about. I think we'll probably start with I think Tielemans was the first thing to happen, wasn't he? I'm pretty sure he was announced before the other two, and it's a really nice way to start the window, isn't it? On a free. All started with that Leicester fan that was posting it all over social media, and everyone was saying, "Oh, pack it in," and everyone else was saying, "Oh, you know, he's got to be reliable." And it's just the whole in the know stuff, like as a whole, over those 3 days was hilarious. But yeah, it's really nice how adding that sort of player that I've loved watching over the past few years, and he comes into a squad, and you think, who does he come in for if he comes in for anyone? But generally, he makes the squad so much better as well at the same time, and you know, he will be on neat wages. He won't be, you know, he won't be skimping along. He'll be on something nice because of the whole zero transfer fee. So, but yeah, it's a really nice way to start the window, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not going to say it was completely unexpected. Like you said, it rambled on for a couple of days, but it's one of those where we've had enough ramblings on where we were like, okay, I think we sort of called ourselves Lazy Link FC at one point because it was just any player. It was, yeah, it could be. I mean, James Madison names cropped up at one point, and I was like, yeah, okay, we're just going for it now. Yeah, it was a nice way to kick it off. I mean, being able to go away from that terrible Champions League final and sitting there going, oh, quite enjoying this, just reading through all of this about where's Tielemans going to slot in. It's quite nice sitting there knowing that I've got some enjoyment personally from a Champions League final. It was strange to me because it feels like it's going to come off really wrong, but there's another way to word it. It feels like a proper club signing, like a quality signing that doesn't completely alter the way your team plays, but fits in, like you've said, and sort of slots in. And again, it breached the same old argument that a lot of people always have whenever we sign anyone. It's who's going then? Where's it going? And obviously doesn't signal anything. All it means is that just able to get quality players now where we are and what we can offer as a club. It is exciting. A lot of people were complaining sort of because I think people turn their noses up at taking from relegated teams. Just look at us when we went down. There's enough quality in the team that we went down that have gone up and had decent enough careers elsewhere to prove that a relegation doesn't define you. Yeah. Like a couple of Twitter clips I have to watch of him where he's not running, and they're like, "Look what we've signed." It's like, believe it or not, I don't think one clip of someone running is a telltale sale of their whole career, but it's exciting. Look, we need someone. I think it was. I want to say it was Matt Kendrick that said it. We need someone to fill the void of screamers since Coutinho never did it. And yeah, Tielemans is the man to do it.
Tielemans has got a lot in his locker, and that's the best part of it because it's such a shrewd signing that he brings some things that we were really missing, and that's ball retention, progressive play from deep, in and around the box. He can score any sort of finish, like not a clinical striker. But he can hit him, you can bang him in from 20, 25, 30 yards. He's good at penalties as well. So that's lovely to have in the bank. But he's experienced as well. He's only 26, but he's really experienced. I think he's been at Leicester for four or 5 seasons now. He joined there quite young, and that only helps us that he's got that Premier League experience. He still has to settle into a new club and a new squad. But when you've got Emery that's going to really unlock him even more, I think he's going to enjoy playing here. I think this is sort of the football that we play. I think really suits him, and as we said, where he slots in, it's not even you could play him, Luiz, and Kamara all in the same side, and it'd give you all sorts of control and solidity as well. And I've been saying about how Tielemans can affect the game from between both boxes. He can crop up anywhere, and he can either create or keep things ticking over, and that's what we're going to need in games where we control it. You need that sort of head that can keep it ticking and also create something. And he's good under pressure, so even in the big games, he'll come in handy. And yeah, I'm really pleased with that. Yeah, it'd be I'd have to say it's a 10 out of 10 signing for a start of a window, personally.
Yeah, exactly that one that isn't going to really affect the books too much on terms of outgoings because it's a free and only really affects the wage structure. You can't help but enjoy that. I think we've benefited from free or low value signings for quite a while now, and it's good to see that the club are willing to go for that option rather than just splurging out on the transfer fees, because we've said that doesn't always work. We've always been crying out for sort of that marquee signing, and like I said, Tielemans is, you've mentioned it there, being the fact that he's played in the Premier League means that there's no worry about the sort of shying away in the big games, and obviously in Europe as well. He's just, I think, you watch West Ham. I know they're different players, but you watch obviously Lucas Paqueta in the Conference League. I mean, the fact we've now got a Tielemans a slot in there, even if he doesn't start, coming in whenever, McGinn, Luiz, Kamara, it doesn't matter who drops out. it just excites me. It just makes me so happy. And like I said, if you had to rate, I would say it was a 10 out of 10 personally, just because of how much business sense it makes as well. And I know there was a lot of sort of should we call it blind optimism? I mean, it's not over yet for Ugarte between us both in terms of a midfield signing, but I mean, this ain't half bad, is it? I'm not saying they're the same player, but you know, it's nice to have. I think we were looking for an attacker, maybe a midfielder and a defender out of this window, and a second choice keeper, and to tick one off early doors is very good, I think.
Yeah, it's really interesting because for me the priorities were what seemed like a second striker, a right winger, and a right back, and then we do need a better backup keeper. Centre back and centre mid for me were going to be luxury signings that were opportunistic, and Tielemans appears to be opportunistic because of him. You know, he's available as a free agent, and he obviously wanted to come here, and it's one of those that if you can get that done, you're improving your squad, so you get it done. There's obviously a lot of links at the moment to Pau Torres. I'm not really sure. I think this is one where he would massively upgrade our defence straight away. I mean, we've had Ty and Esri have been really good for us, under Emery, but Pau Torres is on a different level technically. He would just sort of push our game up further, but it would cost a lot, and it's you have to convince him because as much as the Emery pool and we've got Europe and the Premier League, he is good enough to go to the Bayern Munichs and stuff. So it's one to keep an eye on because it keeps cropping up. But for me, it wasn't a necessity anyway. I think I'm interested to see right wingers and right back links. Nico Williams came up again recently. It looks likely that he'll re-sign at Bilbao, but nothing official yet and all that. And he was one of Emery's main targets in January, I think, but that was never going to happen that early. It's interesting to see how it plays out. I'm not getting involved in these miniature Spanish press links that are just constantly peddled out and changing day by day. Just want to see the solid links from like Greg Evans, Ornstein, Romano, and when it's pretty much concrete, But yeah, it was just nice to add something in such a nice way to start the window like that.
Yeah, I think it's not very often we sort of have that sort of signing that kicks it off to signal intent for the summer. Like you said, midfield wasn't necessity, it was luxury, and to tick that off early doors sort of means, as well as sorry, it's just getting me choked up how good it is. As well as having it labelled as a free as well, means that we're definitely going to put those funds into hopefully the right back and right wing side, and I do just hope a backup keeper as well, because there's no way, as much as I revel in his athleticism, I don't think that Emmy's going to play every single minute of everything, every single game, especially not if he picks up the bookings he does every season, because he will just get banned at this stage. So it was exciting. I mean, we may as well talk as well about we'll go for the departure, then the arrival, I guess. I think that was the way it went round, if my mind serves me correctly. Chris Purslow, he went to Spain. He has now left Aston Villa Football Club.
He might have gone back to Spain. We never know.
He might go back to Spain. I mean, weird links to him to Newcastle. There was all sorts of stuff. But I mean, look, I think I'll go out there and say it. Purslow was sort of villainized, is maybe too far, but
divisive character.
Yes, yeah, and a lot of Villa fans did not like that, and the Gerrard signing did tarnish a lot of that, because it was his man and sort of hung his coattails on him really, and said, this is my manager signing, this is the young hip signing that's going to get us forward. And it didn't work, and since then he has dropped back and back and back. He is obviously a bit of a meme with the video after we sold Jack Grealish. It was a night, I liked the video, but looking back, the way we spent that £100 million replacing Jack in 3 key areas didn't work, unfortunately. So Perslow's gone. I believe you're going to have to correct me on this. forgot his name now. The new fella we brought in.
Monchi.
No, he's not our CEO now.
Or
director.
Chris Heck.
Thank you, Chris Heck. Heck Sausages. That's how I remember it. Has taken over his role for the. It said for the foreseeable until someone's taken that over, which I thought was quite interesting.
It is interesting, the restructure of everything in terms of Chris Heck. I think obviously at the moment in the V Sports sort of chain, we've obviously only just bought stakes in Vittoria. I think it was the start of the season sort of time or something like that, or earlier this year. I can't quite remember.
Wasn't it after? I feel like World Cup was signified around it.
Yeah, it might have been like start of the new year or something maybe. But then obviously we've got all the talk about the Vegas villains, whether it's still going to be Vegas villains or not. And then we've got ZFC in Egypt, I think it is. And there's links to different countries as well. I think I can't remember how they worded it, but you could see him branch out, maybe doing bits around the globe in the V Sports sort of chain. But how they've restructured everything is really interesting. And on Purslow, I think people probably might know that I wasn't his biggest fan. I think he was clearly a good operator on the business side of things, and that's why he's been in such jobs. But I also think that he likes to be involved. Possibly, this is just my take on it. We don't know exactly what happens behind closed doors, but it always felt a bit like a vanity project with him. And I enjoyed the communication after the Grealish sale, but the faced up video, I don't think. Looking back, it could have just been an open letter to the fan base in a sense, and just nice communication. And then I think about the Gerrard deal; he was plastered everywhere. And then when we officially signed Coutinho at the awards night, it was him on the mic. The video was sent out of him, and it just everything felt like he wanted to be the face of it as much as he is a good operator on the business side. And those sort of decisions have cost us. And at the end of the day, that's obviously how NSWE saw it as well, because they pushed him back from a lot of the football decisions. They pushed him back from any sort of public area, and they brought in Chris Heck to take over the daily running of the club. So they obviously felt that he maybe his course had just ran, and we needed to go in this different direction. We don't know. It's just that would be my view on it. It just, I think he made some wrong decisions. He made some right decisions. We're definitely a better club than we were before he took over. 100%. So you have to thank him for what he's done in that aspect. He has played his part in our journey, but I think this is the right step. And bringing in someone that's done such a good job at the Philly 76ers, I think that Chris Heck was.
76ers.
Yeah, and he really grew their brand and the whole revenue stuff. Fans don't like the ticket prices soon, I don't think. They already don't, but let's just say I don't think it's going to stop anywhere at this sort of price, because the whole revenue side of pumping the money into the club, whether it's a little amount or a big amount, they want to add everything they can, and he will grow the brand and he'll grow the revenue, and that's his remit. So he has to do that. But then splitting off the football side of it, and you've got Monchi that's come in, which we'll get onto in a sec, but also Lang moved to that global sort of side of things, which I think is really interesting, because that sort of, it feels like that'll be laying the blueprint around the world for, like how City have the City Group, and they'd like their clubs to play the same sort of brand, and they have that going throughout. So it is that sort of brand the whole way through the globe, and I think that'll be Langer's sort of job doing that, overseeing that sort of project, and I think that's going to really suit him. I think when it comes to those sort of abroad clubs, he has that eye for the gems in the market and stuff, and if he's part of that, if that sort of recruitment side of it as well, I think that's going to grow around the world, and that will benefit us obviously. So the whole restructuring of it is I've found really exciting, and none more so than our new man Monchi.
Yeah, wow. Sorry, it's just you get flashbacks, don't you, to the whole Alaman situation. And as soon as it came out again, we were going to Spain. I thought it's just going to be the same again. And the Spanish press took their sweet time about it, going through it. I had about 10 different reactions on my one Twitter feed one afternoon from various Spanish outlets going, It's going, not going, definitely not going. Storms out of meetings. He runs the place. I was just like, you know what? I literally turned Twitter off. I went, I'll know it's happened because James will tell me. Or if James doesn't tell me on the same day, I'll get a notification from one of the random group chats, something that goes, Monchi. And that'll be it. Done. Brilliant. Because like you said, when it comes to transfers, when it comes to anything, Spanish media are relentless. And
so is Villa Twitter. They're like gremlins after midnight. Don't give them water because they're absolutely feral. Like,
don't give them any articles.
Yeah, don't give them any articles because they will go feral over it.
Well, it's an easy, like I say, it's an easy job. I would love to know what other fan bases are like. But obviously having the experience that we do with us, it's well, yeah, all right, Gremlins. We'll go for Gremlins. But yeah, Monchi in. Sort of the Spanish Revolution continues. Cheeky little plug to the AVFC Faithful Spanish edition. Please give it a follow and share it if you do, because who knows, we'll be playing in La Liga soon because we're Spain FC eventually. It's exciting though, isn't it? It's an Unai Emery empire. It feels like. I'm not saying that Unai went, my man, now he's coming with us and that's it. But it's definitely one that Emery would have gone, yeah, 100%. I can work with him. That's fine. And I think that's what we want now, isn't it? Because we're digging in for this for the long haul. It's exciting, I think.
Yeah, it's a key factor is getting Emery the men that he wants, whether that's off the pitch or on the pitch. And obviously, we went for Alaman first, and that just fell short. The interesting thing is, I think that. Don't get me wrong, the Alaman news was really exciting. I thought the sort of direction we were going, but I think Monchi actually suits us more with how things are structured because Alaman was more of a he's part of the recruitment structure, but he's like a negotiator. He's got a big contacts book and the whole George Mendes thing. Sort of, he knows how to get players in and shift players and stuff like that. Whereas Monchi is just this serial spotter of talent.
Yeah,
and I'd obviously I'd heard of Monchi before because of the whole. I remember when Emery was at Sevilla and they won the 3 European trophies in a row, and there was the whole masterclass around it. But I didn't know exactly, I didn't know in depth about Monchi, and researching him has been really fascinating. His way of working is so in depth. It's crazy. He usually, I think it's June to December, him and his scouts, they do something called gross tracking. So they literally just watch as much football as they can. They separate the scouts to different leagues and different categories, and they just watch football without like an objective. They just consume it so they can fill the database of players. And then from like January to May, they do net tracking, and it's basically about fitting profiles and following players, and they compile a best 11 in each position from every league every month. And it's just crazy the depth that they go into. And that's how they pick up the gems, because they consume a lot of data, and then they cross-reference it with what the manager wants, and then they cherry pick out the men. And you look at some of the deals that they've done in their time in Sevilla when they won the back-to-back trophies. They brought in some good players, but they sold them on for even more money. It's like, I'm pretty sure they only spent 100 million euros in the time that they were together at Sevilla, and brought in 450-ish million euros at the same time as sustaining European success like that. And, Sevilla aren't this massive club in Spain. They're a big club in Spain now, but a lot of that is to do with the Monchi era. And yeah, it's just exciting. I'm interested to see what his remit is here, because, we're working in the Premier League. It is a better quality league than the league. And not that La Liga is not bad, but, we know how competitive that the Premier League is outside of the top 2 pretty much. And yeah, we're going to need players that do make a difference, that come in straight away. But we also need that scouting to pick out the gems like Brighton do, or future players that are going to come in and improve as time goes on. But it's just going to be really interesting to watch over the next year, I think. I don't expect to see instant Monchi sort of work straight away, because I think there was a John Townley article today about getting Emery's targets, which I think was really telling for me, because that's his sort of shortlist alongside our current recruitment team. So I think what we'll see is what Emery's been planning, and then I think we'll bear the fruits of Monchi's sort of scouting come maybe January and next summer.
Our new president of football operations. It's a
That's the
different
one
title, it's it marks a change, doesn't it? And yeah, well, I mean, bringing in anyone that's had experience at clubs like Roma and Sevilla is always going to help. And a European president, sounds strange to call it that, but yeah, one that's going to come with that pedigree and knowledge of working around clubs and teams and squads that are battling in those and cups, it's just going to be helpful. It sounds silly, but you obviously want a man that knows how Europe works and how a club has to operate in Europe and how every little bit around it, even the minute details that we wouldn't even think about, to have someone overseeing it. It does signal intent from the club to move to what is basically big club era status eventually, if you just continue at the ladder that we're going up. So it's so important that we make these moves that sound. I mean, if you'd have told me at the start of the season you're going to be buzzing over news of a new club president, I'd have gone, no, get me signing, get me wins. But now it's all like, oh, I wonder if he's going to change the way the toilets work. Like any little bit that changes in the club now, it's like, what does that mean? What's that sort of signifying? So, I mean, I guess that brings us on to pretty much what is like the most prevalent news right now, and that's these.
Yeah,
it's dominated football Twitter today because there hasn't been a link today. Although Pau Torres has been tweeted about by Fabrizio today, so that will probably take us through till tomorrow morning. But yeah, it's kit season. It looks like we might actually release it before July, which is
mental.
Like baffling to me. There has to be some. Like, there's a guy it's the guy, by the way, who on TikTok does football conspiracies. Like a weird dance to it. It's very frustrating to watch, but they are quite interesting theories. It's the one who sung Villa's going down, 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 down.
Oh, Harry.
Yeah, that's the one. That's a football conspiracy that Villa has a curse against them that means they're not allowed to release their kits before July. And Unai Emery's broken that curse because
that's all he does.
Yeah, it is what he does, and it's an exciting time because I like kits.
That's I'm hearing rumors
that quite a lot. Yeah. And I can't stop buying them. Is my problem. That is an old kit as well. That's Daffabet.
I'm a big fan of the one on your door. I really am.
Oh, the W88.
Yeah, the Green Goblin one.
Season, weren't it? My word.
Yeah, that was staying up by the skin of our teeth season, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure that was the kit that we wore on the final day, wasn't it? The draw against West Ham.
Was. This has got to be top level for me.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I see it there, and the two players I picture are two players that aren't with us now, and that's Jack and Tammy.
Yes, yeah. I also think of Mile as well. I don't know why, but I do. And then,
that makes me think of Adoma.
Well, it should, because I think of that man very often. My Uncle Albert. It's kit season. And I'm excited. You're excited. The whole world's excited. I can't wait to see what colours we go with for our home kit. But there's a chance, who knows, that we might go claret and blue, but not just claret and blue with the sleeves blue. Heard rumours, James, right here. I'm quite in the know as well, as you know. These rumours have come from Twitter. That maybe might be stripes.
I'd like that, just like that 93-94 kit, the green, red and black one, and obviously there was the home kit was claret and blue that year. That excites me. I imagine it would be. You know what? I am really interested to see where the badge goes, whether it's central or whether it's on the heart, because that's a big debate, I think, and I don't mind either. I ain't gonna lie, it doesn't. I am not asked about the placement of the badge. I just want the kit to look nice and something a little bit different. And the stripes, I think, would be nice to see. And I could see it, as I said, like that green, red, and black one, but without the collar. And yeah, maybe just tweaked a little bit. And I'm looking forward to seeing it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still going to be claret and blue, but I want it to be something different, something a little bit more unique, and not just the claret and the blue sleeves, if you know what I mean. So if it is announced tomorrow, that's going to be interesting, because most likely
It's
the
my
new badge
birthday.
will be on it.
Oh yeah, sorry. You had that.
Yeah, and of course, obviously, the priority is your birthday. So, but yeah, it is interesting to see. And as you said, the fact that if it does happen tomorrow, this early, it's mad.
Yeah,
it is mad.
yeah. It's I mean, it's sort of what that's how the dominoes fall for me. Is the season ends, fixtures get released, and then usually it's kit, and then 3 weeks later it feels like the season starts. So maybe this will make it feel even longer. Who knows? Maybe it'll be someone in the kit.
Yeah.
Twitter allowed well with that one. I might. Oh, I'll tell you what I saw the other day. A key memory of mine is the picture of Jack Grealish wearing an Arsenal kit at the Emirates.
One of the greatest photoshops of all time.
It is so good. It is ridiculously good, and it makes me worry because I know I'm going to get done by a Photoshop this year, and it's going to upset me very much.
It's bound to happen.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what. I reckon they should do the kit launch with just Unai Emery wearing it.
Oh, yeah. That's all I need. That's front and center of the new kit campaign. Just him like that.
Yeah. That to the back as well. It's me. No, I would quite like that. I think it'd be great. I quite interesting. Not any clubs do that, but instead of having the players wear it, just the managing directors.
Oh yeah, get Emery and Monchi. Emery and Monchi like that in the new kit.
Yeah, Nassib and Suarez that at the back.
That's all I want now. We'll put the players off. Just get all the staff in.
Or I tell you what, I would take actually is they go, oh, we've forgotten the goalkeeper kit, and then at the end it's Martinez with like Martinez 2030 on the back, so they signed a 7-year contract.
Martinez 2050.
Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, it's actually signed on that he has to stay and become a coach afterwards legally.
Yeah. Imagine.
Yeah, well, I think I've been done by the Villa admin last week when he started posting all the Emi Martinez stuff. I got my hopes up a little bit. But it is what it is. I think we're getting so hungry. Too many people are getting so hungry for something big to happen that they're just coming up with random different things like Martinez leaving and stuff like that. Public service announcement being that look around, not many clubs are doing anything. And it's only when one club does something you feel that every club is doing everything but you. It's something that I had to realize. I think it was last season. I slowly realized that football, you see, it seems like everyone's doing something because as soon as one thing happens, you've got Fabrizio, the fans, Sky, BBC, everyone's going off about it. And that's sort of the way it's going. I mean, how many times do I have to see that Boubacar Kamara left his honeymoon to not play for France? I've seen it so much this week. I feel like I was on the honeymoon.
You know what? Silver lining. He didn't get injured. Fine.
Oh.
Because you know what happened? He'd have come on in the 87th minute and someone would have broke every bone in his body. So let's just be happy that he's alive and he's not injured. So
tell you what though, every bone in his body broken, he's still top 3 DM in the league.
Easily, yeah. Put him in a wheelchair, he'll dominate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So, all right, then you're gonna have to tell me what is your moment that defines for you that the summer is officially starting. Is it the signing, the shirt? Is it the fixture list? Does the fixture list get you excited? I mean, it's got to be the first year really where I was like,
I don't get that excited about the fixture list. I literally just look for the Christmas fixtures and my birthday, and that's it. We play Brentford on my birthday next year, which is quite nice. So try and get to that at home. So I'll try and get to that. I should be able to.
Everyone make sure you go for James's birthday.
Yeah, everyone should just be there just for that.
What's dress code?
Football. The dress code, Villa shirts only.
Oh.
No, I just don't get that bothered about the fixtures because, I know that we're going to play 19 teams twice. So, revelation. I'm just not bothered.
That's almost as good as my in the know about the kit. Jesus.
Yeah. the summer starting for me is when they get back into pre-season training. As soon as I see those pictures as they first start training again, and that's when I get excited, because I know those pre-season friendlies are on the way, and Finn Azaz is going to be curling in 30-yard free kicks or something, and it's a fun time for me, that is, because if you can get to some of the games, like if you can get to Bescott and watch us play Lazio, it's
we haven't even had a chance about that. My word,
it's an interesting time because you get to see some more of the fringe players, young players, and you get to see any new ideas that the staff are coming up with on the pitch, and I find that really fun. And then you get into the serious business of the season a few weeks after. So the pre-season training when they go back is my sort of kickstarter to getting excited again.
Yeah, sorry, I look like I'm excited, but it's just hay fever.
Oh, I hate that shit.
It's all the talk about turning up in just a Villa shirt to your birthday. It's just throwing me out of proportions, to be honest with you. Yeah, I didn't even think about pre-season, but then again, I think it's because we've got Unai Emery as our manager, and John McGinn said that he went in to get his boots at the end of the season, and Emery was in there watching the Brighton game, just sat there in his office watching the game.
I can just imagine him in like a sort of Matrix sort of thing, and he's getting all the data. Yeah, he's plugged in, and he's just channeling everything football related into his brain, and he will not rest. So he's just wild. He's a crazy genius. I love his devotion to it. He's like us, but cleverer and involved in the actual. He's actually good at football.
He's what we all think we are.
Yeah,
he's him. Like every time
me on Football Manager, but good.
Yeah, he's almost like he's a football manager. It's so strange.
Yeah, it's amazing.
How starved have we been, by the way? I mean, you've got clubs that have had like tactician after tactician. I mean, Tottenham went through having Mauricio Pochettino and Jose Mourinho,
and Conte.
We're here. We've had our first ever proper tactical manager since what, O'Neill?
Yeah, and even he wasn't on this sort of tactical level.
No, I don't think many managers are on this sort of level where they're
so exactly
utterly devoted. I think it's only the top level ones that are, or sort of the ones that you get that are sort of up and coming. Your Will Stills and such that are probably plugged in that much. But it feels like we're slowly knocking on now. I mean, for anyone that cares, I guess the Championship, League One and League Two fixtures get announced tomorrow. Under 21 starts tomorrow, is it? You were saying?
Yeah, the under 21 Euros start. No, wait, started today, but England play tomorrow.
It only starts when England start, don't it?
Yeah, that's how I always see it. But I do like the under 21 tournaments because it's like it's not proper quality. You've got really talented players in a less tactical structure and not at the same sort of overall quality, but it's really exciting to see like the stars of tomorrow and all that. And obviously the best player in the world, Jacob Ramsey, is going to be playing. Cameron Archer's going to score 97 goals in 3 weeks. And, it's just, I find it really fun to watch. And yeah, it sort of, gets me through to when the senior Villa team are back in action. And yeah, it's just that sort of slow period at the moment. But as I said, how we ended the season and the sort of couple of weeks of watching Villa restructure and bring in a couple of people has just been fun, and just sort of riding that wave still. And I'm so comfortable about how this summer's going to go. And there should be no panic. Things are going to happen. If you're expecting, rumours every day and a signing every week, go and play FIFA because you're in a fucking dream world. So relax, crack open a cold one, and just get excited for next season and get excited for the playoff round draw for Europe. I'm not getting involved to trying to work out that because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We're winning it all.
Yeah, it don't matter whether we play Juventus next week or in 9 months, we'll beat them. So yeah, it don't matter. It's one of those just weird times anyway. It's just all a bit too exciting. I'm just thinking. Then you said it. How soon tomorrow am I going to see Villa's link up next season when Jacob Ramsey puts a ball through to Cameron Archer, now Cameron Archer scores, and that's going to be, my Twitter will just be Villa's future. This is us next season. Transapor, are you watching?
And I will be half of that.
yeah.
No, I will be.
So that when you see it, you go, that's James's Twitter.
Mate. As soon as anything to do with Archer or Ramsey, that's getting clipped up and going on Twitter within 5 minutes. So,
Who would blame you?
Honestly, Cameron Archer's really exciting, but I think you'd probably know how much I love Jacob Ramsey. Like, he's sort of, I don't know, he's been hot and cold within the fan base over like a few months because of, I think there was a period where he wasn't that consistent, but he was in a new tactical structure again, in a different sort of area than what he'd been playing in. But then I think the running, he showed up and he showed what he's going to offer in the future. And I genuinely think his ceiling is huge. I think he could be one of the top players in the Premier League in years to come. He's got a lot to offer. And I think a lot of people are slowly realising it. And I'm really excited to see what he does next season.
21-year-old kid, and let's just enjoy it. He's not going to be setting the world like every single game, every single season. He's had two full years now, hasn't he, as a Villa starter? So yeah, it's just, I think I find him such a joy to watch, and the fact he can sort of do both, where he can sort of rough and tough it, or then just pull out the little dribble moves he does, like the one he did against Brighton. I love watching him, and I'm just so glad that we have that player where we can go, there he is. It's when obviously we had it with Jack, and now we've got it with him, the most talented up and coming youngsters, and his name pops up, and it's just that sort of a little smile you get, and then you're like, and we've got his brother, so we'll be all right.
There's always that link to Jack that is obviously really easy to make, and I think I've made it several times, because that's what I saw this left-hand side role perfect for him. I think I said it like last summer. I thought that's sort of his area, because he's not this sort of person that wants to pick up the ball and keep things ticking over. He wants to affect the game in the final third. That's his game. And considering he's been inconsistent, he's got something like 13 goal contributions this season at 21. You compare him and Jack's clearly the more talented footballer all round. But Jacob Ramsey is so much more efficient at his age than what Grealish was back then.
Yeah.
So, if he's going to keep going through the gears and improving, if he gets more than 13 goal contributions next season, he's had another good season. And if his game's getting overall better under Emery, which it will, just think about what we could have on our hands. And, everything is more special when they're one of your own. I think that those sort of intangibles that you can't get with players that you bring in. It's that sort of the heart and the soul of the club, that they understand it, and they can sort of drag you through things like Jack did when we nearly went down and stuff like that, and the sort of catalyst of the promotion season. Those sort of intangibles you can't account for. You can't get the stats for that. It's just really exciting when you see an academy product that's doing so well, and I think that's why we love Cameron Archer so much, and we want him to get his chance, because that's what made the class of oh God, is it 92 or 96?
92, class 92.
Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah, it just didn't sound right at first because of how long ago that is now.
Didn't sound right. I know what you mean.
Yeah, but it's that sort of specialness that adds to the quality of, you've nurtured these players through, and that they're getting you some success. So yeah, that's another interesting thing next season, is to push 3 maybe academy products that'll be in the senior squad of all the competitions, and that's a really fun thing to keep track of.
And keep track of it, we will. I mean, there's so much coming up, and there's just, I look forward to, I just can't wait for those preseason games to start popping up as well next month. It's just that's where, like you said, it's where it hits, and it's being able to jump on it on a post-match review, and going, goodness, that 30-yard screamer that James has mentioned that he's curled in, where does he fit in next season? It's where you'll get me and you'll see me say some random shout where, I reckon King Kessler Hayden starts next season. and that'll be it. I'll run with it for about 6 months. So it's an exciting time. I'm glad to be back. I can talk about Villa again. I've had my week off. I felt like I needed to decompress away from Aston Villa Football Club because it's so full on. I mean, people won't know, but it was like all day, every day. I was just consuming pure Villa in the run into the end of the season. And obviously doing this and just like making sure that everything on this was as much as I could do it and putting all of it into it. I was like burnt last week. So taking some time off of Villa Twitter helped. But I'm back now. And I put out my little Father's Day message to Cristiano Ronaldo from Tyrone Mings. That was like I said, to the end of the season, that's probably one of my favorite moments ever in a Villa history. So it's exciting to be back. And if you did enjoy this week's episode, it ran on quite well, actually. I quite enjoyed jumping back into it. Make sure you hit the like button, smash my bell, and tap the subscribe button. This week should be going out on the most important day of everyone's social calendar, #Dan's birthday. So enjoy it, treat yourselves, and remember, it's not just your day, it's God's day himself. So until next time, everyone, at the Villa.
Up the Villa.